Hey everyone. So today I wanted to talk about um, OpenStack and adding volumes to instances. I have talked about it with some people um, and got to thinking, is how easy is it to add an additional volume after you already have an instance spun up? And I got to poking around, and it's not too bad. So I kind of wanted to walk you through what I found and how I got it done. Uh, it's pretty straightforward if you know Windows admin and Linux admin. If you're pretty familiar with how to add disks, usually this isn't so bad. So let's go ahead and we'll get into landscape. We'll get into the OpenStack GUI. Okay, and then if you go to projects, uh, we usually go to instances, but right under instances, there's volumes. And I want to turn on this Windows instance so we can test in Windows 2. We'll get him starting up. Okay. We'll go to volumes, and let's just create a volume. And we can name it whatever. Let's see, new one. It's good. And you can create an image as a volume, like if you wanted to, I don't know, use Linux as for troubleshooting, or if you had an ISO file that you wanted to create an image, you could mount that up. But we're just going to create an empty volume for additional capacity. Uh, no volume type size. We'll just make it 1 gig, and we can use it on any availability zone. So create that volume. And while we're in here, let's go ahead and create another volume. Let's call it new win because we'll mount him on Windows. No volume type, 1 gig. That's good. Okay, and on our first one, let's select the arrow over here and hit Edit Attachments. And this is where you'll attach it to your instance. So we're going to put it on web. This is my generic web server Ubuntu. So attach the volume. Okay, so now he's attached as this device on this instance. So let's open up Putty and go into that instance. And again, this is just kind of Linux admin stuff, right? So let's take a look at the current file systems. So you can see this is the root file system for the VM. Let's take a look at what FS tab currently, because that kind of gives you an idea of how things are configured for storage. FS tab. So that's just the root file system. There's nothing else out there, and they're using a label instead of the location, but it's just how you want to do things. Uh, Ubuntu suggests you use a UUID now, but I'm just going to do it the old way with file systems, just so I can show you how OpenStack can add some volumes. So now that he's attached, it would be just like adding SAN storage to one of these to a Linux server. It basically it's available out there to it right now. It's just not configured. It's not partitioned. It's not formatted. So if you do an fdisk, probably have to sudo that -l, you can see the root volume, and then you can see this new volume that we added doesn't contain a partition table. So let's get into fdisk for that new volume. Okay, and I'm going to hit M just because I never remember what the flags are. And so we're going to partition it. Let's print the partition table. Okay, so there's nothing there. So we're going to go new to add a partition. And we're just going to make it the primary since it's a new disk. And we'll make it 1. because it's a new partition. Just use the defaults here because we're going to use the whole disk. That's good. And then let's write it. So hit W. Syncing disk, we left F disk. That should be good. Now we have to make a file system on that disk. So sudo make fs. And then you have to use the -t option, and then ext3 is the drive type, the file system type. Sorry, couldn't think of it. And the disk is actually the DB, but the partition will be 1. So we're making a file system on top of that partition. Okay, we made the file system. Now, let's just make a quick directory. I don't know, what do we want to call it? Let's call it storage/new. Well, you have to make them individually. I guess you could do it recursively. Um, okay, and then right now we can see, like, let's cd to storage, cd to new. There's nothing in here. It's not mounted yet. So I'm just going to mount it manually. To this location, and I'm in it, so that's not a good move to make. Okay, now it's mounted. Now we can do the display file system again. And there's our new file system. He's got 900 some meg free, and he's mounted right there. So to make this, as with any other Linux file system, to make this available upon reboot, we have to put it in FS tab and just add it right underneath what's already there. File system type, defaults, and I'm going to put it in 0, 2. And we can exit, save that guy. Now he'll be there for reboots. Let's do something kind of interesting. Let's go find some files here. So I have a couple of files. Let's copy them to our new drive. Let's just use this one. And we'll copy it to storage/new. All right. Oh, put a tick. So there's our file on the new storage. Now, we've got some files out there. Cool part about any storage device that's any good at all, you can come in here and create a snapshot. So we're creating a quick backup of everything that is on that drive that we made. This would be useful, and I'll show you in just a second. So create a snapshot of that drive. We've got one new snap out here. So you can create a volume from that snap. So we'll create a new snap vol, create the volume. And this would be useful if you wanted to copy this drive to another machine and migrate. Or, I mean, countless numbers of things that you could do. But for now, we'll just keep it simple, and we'll attach it to this same server that we're on. And since we partitioned it, so let's make another directory. I always do that. And then let's just pull our mount command back up, and we'll mount C on storage 2 new. And let's just display. So let's ls storage slash new. It's got that in it. And let's ls storage 2 slash new. Snapshot has the same thing in it. Now let's make things a little different. Let's copy. I know I have some other files in there. Cookies.txt. To storage 2 new, the snapshot volume. Because it's actually a volume. It's just we copied it. And it has cookies in it. And the first one has no cookies in it. So now you see how this works. You see how useful this can be. You can do anything with this that you could do with a regular file system in Unix. You could add it to a file system. You could, just to increase capacity, whatever you wanted to do. That's how you would do it here in Linux. Now let's move to the Windows side of the house. Okay. Let's make sure my Windows instance is back up and ready to go. He's on 8. Alright, he's all set. And again, a lot of this is just simple Windows admin stuff. Just like if you were adding any other disk. So let's go to computer management and disk management. So there's our root disk. So let's go out here to volumes, and we'll attach this to this Windows machine. And just for fun, let's create another one. We'll put him on the same machine, just so we have something to copy back and forth to. Now, Windows comes up with a policy that offline all, SAN policy, offline all. So you're going to get some weird states, like not initialized. Let me make this a little bigger. And really the only way I know how to do it is to come out here to command line and reset these policies. So check out SAN. Oh, you got to do, it's in disk part. Disk part, check out SAN. Offline all, that's the problem. So SAN policy online all. That's good. Let's see what the disk look like. It's got one on, so they came up in a little funny, but that's okay. Uh, let's just do this to both of them. Let's select disk 1 and let's set the attributes to disk clear, read only. Okay. And you can do attributes disk if you'd like to see them. So it sets everything back in a no. And let's make sure this disk is online. Already online, should be good. So that's disk 1, which he's actually calling disk 2. Anyway, so let's... Oh, didn't want to do that. Let's set up disk 2. Select disk 2. Change the attributes. Oh, I think I lost it. Yeah, there we go. And we can check them again. Oh. Everything's set to no. Let's online the disk. You can see it already changed down here to non-initialized. So we should be in good shape. We can get a disk part. Get out of here. And yep. Okay. Then you can just click over here on the gray area and initialize it. And I'm going to make them GTP because I don't need to boot. So we're going to do both of them at the same time here. Again, this is just Windows admin stuff. It really doesn't have anything to do with OpenStack. It's just show you that it does work. New simple volumes are fine. However, whatever you want to do. But we'll give this one D. And he'll format it. Give this one E. Then you have your new partitions. Again, you can do whatever you want with this storage. Just showing you that the storage can be added pretty easily for expansion. So we've got 2 new volumes. We've got our handy drivers here. There you go. Paste some stuff in here. You can copy back and forth if you'd like. Made the copy just fine. Now, I mean, if we wanted to, we could come back in, we could do some snapshots, we could replicate to another Windows box, I mean, snapshot it, mount it over there, we could unmount it off of this one, mount it on another Windows machine. It'd be a pretty, I mean, it might be a good way to move data if this is your only option. But that's exactly what I wanted to show you guys. Just this is typical admin stuff. All you got to do is come in here and add a volume. So now what happens if we want to remove a volume? You could just come in here and do the regular process and unattach, and that is a great way to really lock up a server. So we should probably take best practice and let's go to our Windows machine. We got going on here. Okay, and let's offline these guys. You could delete the volume, I guess. You can offline it and offline it. And just make them offline or however your process is, and then come in here and you can go to your volume. You can edit attachments, then you can detach. Okay, and now that makes him available. Let's go ahead and remove the other one as well. Okay, we'll detach volume, detach volume. And now they're available. You could put them on another Windows box. You could destroy them, whatever you want to do. Let's go out to Windows, and you can see they're gone. Server's still up and running. We didn't rip them out from underneath it. So that's good. We got that cleaned up. Let's just log off of this guy. I'll just shut him down. And the same for Linux, right? What do we got? Those two. So let's just unmount them. And we'll go ahead and unmount the other one. Again, just best practice. You could probably come in here and unattach them and save the server, but we don't want anything to crash. And you can, again, you can successfully attach these to another server. Doesn't seem to bother it any. And if you wanted to delete one, now that it's detached, you could either do this and delete the volume. So, pretty easy. That's how you delete. That's how you do snaps. You can delete your snap. You can do whatever you want. But pretty good set of tools to use. Hopefully this is helpful. Thanks guys for watching.